everyone, today we're going to discuss about a topic called constructors. So what are constructors? So constructors are basically methods, but they follow a different set of rules, so which make them special or out of the league. But still, they are just kind of methods and they follow different kind of rules. The first rule is they have name of the class itself. And second thing is they doesn't have any written type. They doesn't have any written type doesn't mean that they don't return anything. They return the current class's instance. That means they're gonna return the object of the constructor which we use or which is created itself. And next thing is there are mainly two types of constructors. One is the default constructor, which the Java virtual machine internally creates it for us when we create a class. So let's say there's a book class. So if I create an object of a book, so the Java virtual machine internally creates a default constructor for us. And next, a parameterized constructor. So as you know, a method have parameters, right? In the same way, we give parameters to them. And next thing is, when we use a default constructor, it initializes the object's value as null and zero and stuff. So since it's a string, it's going to be zero. Since it's an int, since it's a string, it's going to be null. Int means 0 and double means 0.0. So first, let's see how do we call a method. As you know, we're just going to write the name of the method and give the parameters. And this simply give the semicolon. Here I just create a method, add it. It means it's going to add two numbers and it's going to print out the value. So 2 plus 3. It's going to be 5. So I got the result. So in the same way, if I want to create an object of a book class, so book bk1 which is equal to new. So as I mentioned, the first rule that it should have the name of the class itself. So in the same way, the name of the class is book, right? So as you can see, the book, since it contains parameters and default constructor doesn't contain parameters, so nothing is written here. And here we have added int a and int b. So as you can see, the value of name, ID and price, they are 0, null and stuff. So let's check them out too. So let's print out. So as I mentioned, they're gonna initialize. It uses to initialize the object. So the ID is an int, so we're gonna get 0. As you can see, we got 0. So how to change this stuff? We're gonna simply go there. Let's make the name as Java. Next, let's give the ID as, let's assume 456. So let's give the price too. Let's assume 999. That's all. The ID is 456 and we got 456. But what's happening here is it contains three attributes, right? The name, ID and price. But it's taking 4 lines of code for us. If we use constructor, we can just simply do it in 1 line. So whenever an object is created, the memory is being allocated internally in Java. So what if I wanted to override the default constructor? So if I say, this is what a default constructor looks like. So no return type, nothing, just the name of the class, empty brackets. Since it's a default constructor, so no parameters, and the body. So let's say it's gonna print out, I'm a book, I'm a book. So even though if we remove it, since the object is created, so it's gonna print out, I'm a book. So let's create even the second book. Let's name it as BK2. That means book 2. So the object is created, printed. The object is created, that means it printed. So we overridden it. At the same way where we override the method. So let's see how does a parameterized constructor look like. Book. Since it's parameterized, so we're gonna give the parameters inside it. String name. For the time being, I'm giving the same value. So name means name. I'm giving ID as ID, and the price as price. Now, here I'm going to discuss about two things. One is this keyword, and next the order which we're gonna discuss. 1. This keywords means that it holds the value of current object. So we're going to discuss about them deeply when we go to the topic called inheritance, where we're going to discuss about this and super keywords. So here I want to mention that let us assume I want to print the value of book one's name. Of course, since they are initialized with null, we're going to get null itself. So we got null. So here what we are doing is bk1, the object of the class book and the name. So in the same way, this holds the object of the current class. That means internally it's going to create something like book xyz dot price is equal to price. So that price is here. So we can also change them as whatever alphabet we want. As you can see, I changed. It's the same thing. This dot id is equal to id, this dot name is equal to name, this dot price is equal to price. But it's a good practice to keep the same names, but it doesn't care if you have the different names too. And the second thing which I would like to mention is the order. Since I have given name, ID and price, so it does matter. So if I create an object with, let's say, Java, and then ID is 123, and then the price is 43.82. So the order is string, int and double. Since we are given string, int and double, it should be the same order here. If you mess up here, then that's going to be a problem. This could be in order, this could be in order. It's the same way as methods. Now next thing is, what if there's a case that we don't know the price? We just know the name and ID of the book. So we can just create with two parameters too. So just give two parameters here and then erase the price. So in this situation, what we are doing is, it's just same thing like method overload. As you can see, it contains the book, the same name, but the parameters will be different. So the number of parameters are name, ID and price, but here only name and ID. So the same way, as you can see here, I have overloaded a method, two parameters and three parameters. That's all. It works in the same way. Let's say it's Python, and I just know the ID as 345. Still, the object is being created. As you can see, the object is getting created. No errors. What if I want the price of it to be, if the price is not given, so by default, if I want to keep the price as 65, it works. So if I print the stuff, we're going to get 65. Since this is double, we are getting 65.0. So in this way, the object is being created. We can do with how many other parameters we want. Let's say I have another parameter called barcode or something. So let's say int br bc, that means barcode. So even though I don't use a parameter, so that means it's going to be 0 because we never mentioned about it. So it initializes the stuff, right? So the barcode will be 0 for any of them. So let's see. It's PC, right? So it's going to be 0. So the place it's used to initialize an object, and it's a special kind of method, and it doesn't contain abstract, static, or final or synchronized. And as you can see, default, and this one is parameterized. And next thing is, it doesn't contain return type, which I'm mentioning again, but it does return something called current classes instance. That means it's going to return the object. That's all. I hope you guys understood. Thank you.